Alright, we are here in Monroe. This is actually a national park, believe it or not. This is where the Battle of the River Raisin happened. As you can see, we're right here. That's off of Elm here. So actually we're probably more around this area. Maybe around this area, because Dixie was back that way, Detroit was back that way. Alright, the opening months of the War of 1812 were disastrous for the isolated American outposts in the West. Fort Mackinac on Mackinac Island had fallen in the first action of the war. The inhabitants and garrison of Fort Dearborn at what is now Chicago had been massacred. Detroit had surrendered August 15th, 1812, and the Frenchtown settlement on the River Raisin was controlled by the British. When the Americans learned of the fall of Detroit, armies on the march in Ohio and Kentucky were reorganized and soon placed under the command of famed General William Henry Harrison. Their goal? Recapture of Detroit. The small army was to be composed of three groups. On the right, men from Pennsylvania and Virginia. In the center, men from Ohio. On the left wing of the gathering army consisted of tough Kentuckians who were the first to arrive at the assembly point a few miles above the mouth of the Maumee River. These troops, about 1,100 effective soldiers under the command of General James Winchester, arrived at the rapids of the Maumee near present-day Toledo on January 12, 1813. Here Winchester learned that there were only a few soldiers and several hundred of their Indian allies at the River Raisin. The decision was made to attack. Before dawn on January 18, 1813, Lieutenant Colonel William Would you like us to call the fire department? Before dawn on January 18th, 1813, Lieutenant Colonel William Lewis's detachment of 667 Kentuckians marched northward on the frozen water of Lake Erie. Patience, tractor, patience. They arrived at La Plaisance, 2 miles south of the Raisin, at 3 p.m., where they were joined by 100 local resident volunteers. The Battle of the River Raisin was about to begin. And as you can see, let's start at number 1. Assigned to capture the cannon, right wing advances largely unopposed to a point northeast of the main assault. Pausing, they come under the severe sniper fire and fall back to await advance of the center. And I guess that would be back here. They were going that way. Oh, okay, I see. Right wing commanded by Lieutenant Colonel John Allen. 3 companies. Number two. The advance guard center and left wings charge forward to assault the British. They sweep through the British and Indian positions among the buildings of Frenchtown. That's it. Right there. Believe it or not. River Raisin volunteers, 2 companies. Number 3, local volunteers eager to get in the battle sally out in front of the American lines. Yeah, let's go, crazy asshole. After briefly holding their positions, the British, under cover of their Indian allies, take up new positions just north of Mason Run. I guess that's this right here. And I guess that would be back out that way. Left and center try to outflank the retreating British and Indians. Wow. At nightfall, the British and Indians begin their retreat to Brownstown, about 20 miles from the River Raisin. The Americans retire to the positions formerly occupied by the enemy. After a brief stand, the British continue to fight and retire for about an hour. Most of the casualties on both sides are suffered in the intense skirmishing. Yeah, right. Where's number 7? Potawatomi Indians, 100 men. British commander Major Ebenezer Reynolds. Canadian militiamen, 75 men, 3-pound cannon. Potawatomi Indians, 100. Oh, I see the little red, I don't know if you can see that, little red spots. I guess that's supposed to be the redcoats. And then you got the Indians. You got Indians mixed in with, what do you got here? Oh, look at the little American flag. Look at the little American flag, ain't that cute? Then they don't have any regular colors. Just, okay, cool. This was January 18th, 1813. January 19th through 21, 1813, the second battle of the River Raisin. Winchester hears of the victory early in the morning of the 19th. He orders Colonel Samuel Wells to lead 312 men to the River Raisin. And I guess that's that right there. Winchester, traveling by sleigh, arrives at Frenchtown at 2 a.m. on the 20th. He selects the house of Francis Navier for his headquarters. I hope I'm pronouncing that man's name right. Don't want to. Wells arrives at 2 o'clock p.m. on the 20th. He protests his exposed position, but no decision is made to build defenses until the evening of the 21st. Wells then leaves to get more reinforcements from Harrison. General Proctor quickly assembles an army of 525 soldiers. On the 20th, they leave Fort Malden and march to Brownstown with 3 small sled-mounted cannons and 3 bronze howitzers. And that's up that way. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, it is kind of exposed, ain't it? And look, you can see all the American troops up inside there. Yeah. Reinforced by 800 Indians, Proctor's army marches to a spot 7 miles from the River Raisin. They begin their final approach in the early hours of the 22nd. January 22nd, 1813. Arriving in the dark, undetected, the British take up positions in the center, flanked by Canadian militiamen and their Indian allies. And that's all these guys right through here. Now they're all coming down like this. Before dawn, the Americans are roused by the drumming of reveille, followed by the sound of British cannon fire. Yeah, that would wake me. And you can see they're all like, WTF, you know. Alright, here we go. January 22nd, 1813, the American right wing, in their exposed position, come under heavy fire and ordered to retreat to the riverbank. So they're coming back this way as the British are advancing here. That's probably this group right here. Yeah, that'd be this group coming in this way. Yeah, this group coming in this way, as you can see. To relieve the faltering right, nearly 200 men are sent as reinforcements. They retreat with the regulars to the north bank, but as a brief stand, they're quickly overrun. General Winchester is caught up in the groups of soldiers and civilians fleeing to the south. So he's in here somewhere. These guys are all, these guys are coming. These guys are coming down. The 700 men under Colonel Lewis, protected by a Ponchian fence. Punchian fence. I'll have to look that one up. That's probably just the old-fashioned fences that they used to make to protect their forts. Drive back the first frontal assault by the British regulars. Okay, so you have British that are coming around this way. Yeah, you got them coming around here. Our guys are running this way. These guys are holding their own. This is not going to be good for them because these guys are running. That's not good. I can see these guys coming around and just squeezing these guys out right in the middle. January 22nd, 1813. Let's see, where's number one? Mounted Indians from the British right wing take the rear of the retreating Americans and set an ambush at Palm Creek. And that's these guys right here. They're going after the Americans that have retreated from this position right here. Flanked by mounted Indians, the scattered groups are slaughtered one by one. Of the nearly 400 persons in the rout, only 33 make it to Harrison's camp. More than 220 are killed. The rest, including General Winchester, are captured. Oh. Yeah, you can see they just drove them right on out. Okay, and these guys seem to be holding. These guys here seem to be holding everything. The British repositioned their artillery and attempt another frontal attack. They are again repulsed by the Americans. Here. Look, you can see they burned the buildings. The Americans burned 2 barns which have provided cover for the British. British artillery fire sets another ablaze. Okay, I can see that. Okay, they're hiding behind that. Oh yeah, I can see that. January 22nd, 1813. After a third attempt to dislodge the Americans, this time in columns of sections, maneuver, Major George Madison, the officer upon whom command has devolved, receives a recommendation from the captured General Winchester that they surrender. Cool. Short of ammunition, Madison reluctantly agrees, and over 400 men march out and lay down their arms. So they're still holding this spot. The British have cleared this out and cleared this out and chased all these Americans down and basically killed them. I should say the British and the Indians chased all of them down and killed them. The British, anxious to leave before American reinforcements arrive, marched to capture the captured Americans to the north. 65 wounded and 30 Kentuckians who volunteer to stay and care for them are left at Frenchtown under guard of 6 soldiers. These soldiers leave during the night. Gee, I wonder why. During the morning of the 23rd, Indians return and begin to massacre the wounded soldiers and take the unarmed protectors prisoner. Oh. Remember the Raisin becomes the battle cry, which leads Americans on to victory in the Old Northwest. And that's what happened here. You know, you hear a lot of stories about the Revolutionary War and a lot of the Civil War, but you never hear anything much about the War of 1812. And this is one of the areas that was in the War of 1812, right here. This is the River Raisin battlefield.